world has ever seen, just as we had just a short time ago. We will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Great again. Great again.
Hey guys, welcome to the American Tribune Live. I am Todd Peterson. Thanks for joining us today. There is so much to get into. We've got the glorious Lib meltdowns. I think I live for the Lib meltdowns. We knew it would be good with Donald Trump back in office. For 4 years, every day you were going to get tears, delicious, salty tears. You were going to get firings like this because the election was a referendum on the media as much as it was the White House. So we get to talk about Joy Reid today. Folks, I hope you're sitting down. I hope you're buckled up because we have so many Joy Reid clips just to go back in time, just to remind everybody about how awful of a human being she is. I am not holding anything back when I go after Joy Reid. I have a video of one of her supporters melting down. It's exactly what you would expect from an effeminate beta man that listens to Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow for opinion and analysis and news. So we got so much good stuff here. Dan Crenshaw caught on a hot mic threatening Tucker Carlson. And then again, we get to go back in the Wayback Machine. We have a clip of Tucker Carlson calling him out, I think it was like a year or two ago. So it's all coming together nicely here. Kamala Harris resurfaces. You thought you were done with Kamala Harris. No doubt she is planning to run for governor in California. I guess we can only say I hope so. You still see surveys of her maybe running for president again because that bench for Democrats is about as shallow as they come. They're actually even considering Kamala Harris. Like, that's how bad it is for them. There's so much good stuff happening here. First, just want to shout out Rumble Studio. Broadcasting live from Rumble Studio. I think we're on week 2 or 3 of doing that, and we like Rumble, so we want to give Rumble a chance here, but we are streaming live over on YouTube. We're streaming live on my X account. We had to shut down Facebook. I honestly couldn't figure out how to connect our Facebook pages to the Rumble Studio, so one day we will welcome back into the fold our lovely Facebook audience. We have like 15 million followers over there. We always get good engagement in the chat. We always have some really good insights from our audience, but like I said, I couldn't figure out how to connect Facebook to Rumble Studio. So that's one of those tech issues that will eventually get worked out, but maybe not. Maybe they'll just find us over on Rumble here. We are going to be looking at the count here. I think our record over on YouTube is 10. YouTube absolutely hates our channel. But we had like 10 concurrent viewers last week. We had some good comments over on YouTube. So hopefully those folks find their way back to the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson. And then just a little PSA, folks, we are streaming on my smaller podcast channel. That is the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson. That's our little growing Rumble community over there. But if you want to find this podcast in a later episode when I drop the entire show once we're done recording. If you want to see daily video uploads, I do commentary every day for our website, theamericantribune.com. You can find that main Rumble channel. Again, just search it out. The American Tribune, full stop. It's just the American Tribune. This is our spin-off channel for my podcast, The American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson. But we've got so much good stuff going on in the American Tribune family. You got the website, theamericantribune.com. You got the Rumble channel, the American Tribune. You can go to our Substack. One of our business partners does a fantastic breakdown every week. Really smart, big picture stuff. That's the americantribune.news. We recently spun up a second website, thechristiantribune.com. I do some commentary as well. We got some videos of we always find clips of these woke preachers, and there's a Twitter profile, an X profile called just that, woke preacher clips. It's absolutely wild what is out there. The internet is a disheartening place sometimes, and even more disheartening knowing that you've got these dudes or women with beards and they're praying for Joy Reid. I got a clip, I think, of one of these woke pastors today praying for Joy Reid because she lost her show. I'm looking in the video queue right now for that one. Just wild stuff there. But you can support our other website as well, thechristiantribune.com. Like I said, we're a growing community. We've got a lot of properties, a lot of different platforms. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, X. You can go to our website, theamericantribune.com. But we got to dive into it. We have so much to talk about today. There was too much happening for me to deep dive any one thing. I just wanted to hit all the highlights from the news cycle. It is only Tuesday morning, but what a weekend and what a Monday. Joy Reid getting fired is the big story of the day. Joy Reid of MSNBC is out after 5 long years. 5 long race baiting, race hustling, race grifting years. Joy Reid is one of the most disgusting human beings you will find in politics and television. And that should say something because every single personality in media and politics has a baseline of disgusting already. Joy Reid takes that to a different planet, a different solar system, a different universe. She is nonpareil in her overt racism, her overt hatred of this country. Just a reminder, I was trying to Google her net worth before the show started. All I know is she was making tens of millions of dollars per year at MSNBC. This is a woman with no skills, no meaningful message, no positive uplift. All she has accomplished in her time at MSNBC and things she did before that is to cause more people to be angry, miserable, upset, to place this anger and misery in the wrong place. They want to blame you, my viewers. They want to blame people like me. They want to blame this wonderful country that we live in for all of her problems. Meanwhile, she must have amassed hundreds of millions of dollars in just salary over the years. And then I know X was paying creators. Then she left X. She's on Pedo Sky now. This woman has been given everything. She has been given everything. She's got the home, got cars, got the fame, got the fortune. And in return, she is as ungrateful as they come. She wanted to spew hatred every single day, rile up some audience to hate Donald Trump, hate this country, hate the Constitution, hate people based on their skin color or their identity, instead of looking at simple things like, are you a good person? How do you treat others? Do you work hard? Do you raise your family the right way? Do you support your family? Those things don't matter to Joy Reid. It's all about skin color. So, like I said, we're going to go back in time a little bit. We got some clips of Joy Reid just doing awful Joy Reid things. She needed to be fired long ago. She could have been fired 5 years ago. The world would have been a better place. The world will be a better place without her there. MSNBC will find somebody new to replace her, and they'll spew the same hatred. But I think Joy Reid was uniquely positioned to create this brand of racism and toxicity and division. No one will quite be like Joy Reid. She was so passionate about her hatred of other people and hatred of this country. I just don't think you can match that or top that. So other people will say the same message. Joy Reid, though, uniquely positioned to craft and disseminate that message. So the world will be a much better place without her here. I think we just got to dive into the clips, folks. Again, thanks for tuning in. I'm just checking the count here. We got some Rumbles watching. We got some YouTubes watching. Got my folks on YouTube. Again, the magic number is 10 today. We're trying to get YouTube to push that out to 10 concurrent viewers. And folks, this is a live show as you're tuning in. Again, thanks for watching. You are watching the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson. Drop a comment. We're live. I'll read it on the air here. Joy Reid, though, has an absolute breakdown. Just melts down like you would expect her to do, and that I am here for. Again, I'm lapping up all the delicious, salty lib tears. But she just couldn't handle getting fired. If it weren't for lack of self-awareness, I don't know if you could be on the left. It is a hallmark of that disease, that brain rot that is leftism, communism, progressivism, whatever name you want to apply for it. But Joy Reid got fired, and she was sad. And you know what? The amount of sadness she felt is commensurate with my joy. There's a 1-to-1 correlation. The worse Joy Reid feels, the better I feel about myself. If you're ever having a bad day, just rewatch this clip and just remind yourself, thank goodness I'm not Joy Reid.
My show had value, and that, I'm sorry, that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And I say this is kind of like being on TV, so I apologize. And then it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you. Where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life and defended them, or whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution, that is injurious to our liberty, defending books that people find inconvenient, that Nicole Hannah-Jones put into our spirit, that we need to understand 1619 as the real founding of this country, whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. And you know, I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
All right, so there was Joy Reid's reaction. Honestly, she could have been much worse. I have to ask this question though, folks. The toilet paper, like, where are the Kleenexes? You're using toilet paper for this moment, but why not? You know what? It summarizes Joy Reid. You would use toilet paper, not Kleenexes. Everything she said in there. This is what's wrong with them. All they do is read off a script of propaganda. She's proud of everything she did, and then she proceeds to just name item after item. Here's something I propagandized. Here's something I lied about. Here's something I hoaxed. We're still going on the narrative, apparently, that Donald Trump is inciting insurrections, and he's going to tear up the Constitution. We're still doing that. We're still talking about how Black Lives Matter, and I'm proud of that. And I would always talk about how little kids or mothers, and I'm over here thinking, folks, I don't know about you. I remember the Black Lives Matter narrative, and that was that police need to be defunded. White people are bad. This country was founded on racism. Every time we would get these horrific stories of a child slaughtered in Chicago in a drive-by shooting, they were targeting some other member in their family. A little kid gets hit in their house, gets hit in the car. Some black-on-black crime takes place. I remember thinking, like, those Black Lives Matter. Why isn't that part of the narrative? That's the predominant source of death in the black community, is at the hands of another black person. But she was out there telling you police and white supremacy. So I don't know what she was trying to say here, other than the fact that I just need to read off a script right now. These are all my brainwashing talking points that I got to hit. We need to be able to talk about Gaza. Nobody is stopping you from talking about any of these issues, Joy Reid. You are talking about it right now. You would talk about it on your show every day. MSNBC gave you a platform to spew all of this lies and vitriol. But I love how they're trying, like, we have a right to say all this. Do you remember the viewer, me? Were you allowed to talk about anything that mattered against the Biden regime? Maybe I don't want to take this experimental jab. Maybe I don't want to wear a mask on a plane. Maybe I don't want my kid to be masked up in preschool. Can we question that? Can we question the 2020 election? Like, those were things that you actually weren't allowed to talk about. And Joy Reid doesn't really talk about that, does she? She doesn't want to acknowledge the fact that anything that was worth mentioning, you got censored, banned, kicked off of social media, you'd get fired. But boy, she's a real hero and fighter over there. I want to talk about Black Lives Matter, one of the most politically convenient narratives that we've ever had to endure. And she's out there saying, like, I stood up to power. I was speaking truth, and no one else was talking about that. It's like everybody was talking about that. All right, we got to get to the chat box here. We got Robert over on YouTube. Joy Reid forgot. I was just going to get to that point as well. Maybe we just missed her at the last dozen March for Life rallies. Don't they always invoke God? And speaking of God, I've got a woke pastor praying for Joy Reid. This is a wild clip here, but they always talk about their Christian faith. Joe Biden was a Catholic. Nancy Pelosi's a Catholic. Apparently, Joy Reid is a staunch Christian as well. Where are any of their Christian ethics? And yes, there's some wiggle room when you want to break down different denominations. Catholics have some value or different belief systems compared to maybe a Protestant. But at the end of the day, we have some pretty standard foundational tenets. That's what makes us Christian. I have never seen Joy Reid espouse anything that I recognize as Christian. I think March for Life, I think abortion is probably the easiest example. Can you call yourself a Christian if you support unlimited and especially late-term abortions? It seems to be one or the other. Either you value life, all life is created in the image of God, and we must protect that, especially the innocent and the unborn, or we don't. Robert, thanks for tuning in. We got a regular viewer over here, Robert. Robert, I will never forget, I think you came on my very first podcast talking about, Hitler and Trump and all the other nonsense they trotted out. And you're like, well, I'm a Jew that voted for Hitler. This is a problem here. So Robert, appreciate you watching again. Thanks for commenting. I have to upload this video in real time, folks. Bear with me. I don't think it made it in our studio, but there was a clip speaking of God and Joy Reid. And then I'll come back to my comments on this Joy Reid sob fest here. But we've got a pastor praying. I think this is it right here. Praying for Joy Reid. Let me see if this is the right one. Here we go.
Gracious and most merciful God, first we give you thanks for abundant, powerful, courageous, and fierce joy. We thank you for the creativity and brilliance of Joy Reid. May you, O God, in this moment, may you awaken within us, all of us, to be powerful truth tellers, that we may be able to speak truth to power. May the wisdom of Ida B. Wells, Anna Julian Cooper, Fannie Lou Hamer, Septima Clark, Prathia Hall, and Shirley Chisholm, peppered with the power of Mamie Till Mobley, rest upon our hearts. May we stand with 10 toes down with an unapologetic liberation-centered spirit. May we have the spiritual power to be able to banish every Confederate ghost and antebellum fanboy and authoritarian arsonist who is seeking to burn down the unfinished cathedral of democracy in this country. We ask, oh God, that you would allow us to receive the power that flows from our ancestors and from you. Give us spiritual endurance during this fight. We are called to do good in this moment, in this time, and pass on the baton to the next generation. This is a continual fight. We have been fighting this fight since we witnessed the injection of an viral agent in this yet to be United States of America called COVID-19 that continues to mutate every single generation, that causes us to continue to fight and inoculate our children so that they may grow and develop into the human beings that you have called them to be and not what portions of America want them to be. Strengthen us in this moment that we may do the work. And there will be a generation not yet born that will be able to look back and say there lived a people who stood 10 toes down to fight and be able to place another brick on the unfinished cathedral of democracy in these yet to be United States of America. This is our prayer this night. And we once again give you thanks for abundant joy. And the people of God who love God, who've gathered on this Zoom call, may say, amen.
All right, no explicit reference there to Joy Reid, but I think you get the idea. I think Joy Reid and this guy would probably be quite simpatico, would be best friends. And I got to admit, folks, I don't know if you caught it in there, but COVID-19, Joy Reid referenced that, the horrific literature that said America was founded in 1619 when the first slave ship came up, when it first landed on the shores of this country, a racist country from the beginning. Never mind the fact that slavery was alive and well. I can't believe we're talking about this again, but for my viewers out there, slavery was a universal constant in all of human history. Yes, it was black and black in Africa, white and white in Europe. You had the people around you that became your slaves. The natives that lived here prior to the European arrival had slaves as well. I don't know if you remember those natives, but they would also slaughter tens of thousands of people, rip out their beating hearts while they were still alive, and kick them down the steps of their temples. Not a lot of good things happening here as well. But COVID-19, I have never heard that before. I don't know if you could see me. One of the things with Rumble Studio is I can only do full screen videos, so I don't know if you saw me laughing out loud. I had not heard that before. Yes, the pandemic of COVID-19. We are a racist country at our roots. We will always be a racist country. These yet to be United States. People think this way. People think this way. I got a message for this guy. We would be much more united if you would drop the racist pretenses. This country has a corrupt federal government trying to steal your power as it is trying to weaponize the media against you to believe these falsehoods. There is no overt white supremacy racism going on in this country, no institutional racism. I do have some clips in a second, though. I've got more Joy Reid. I've got some Jasmine Crockett. Make no mistake, racism is alive and well in this country, but it is coming from the very people trying to convince you otherwise that racism comes from folks like you and me. I just want to get along. I just want to move on from this racial conversation. The people like Joy Reid, this pastor here, Jasmine Crockett, a black Democrat from Houston, Texas, they will never let that go because this is how they profit. If Joy Reid were not a black woman, and she were not saying America's a racist country, she would not have a job. She relies on that narrative. You have to understand that. Drill down to where is the money coming from? Who is the money going to? COVID, you could say the same thing. Big Pharma needed to create a narrative that it was a super deadly and scary virus. Here, you got to get our vaccines, which aren't vaccines, but take them anyways. Government's going to pay us billions of dollars. Joy Reid, I got to call it a racist country. Otherwise, I'm not going to get $10 to $20 million in an annual salary. Jasmine Crockett, I'm not going to get elected if I don't call everyone else racist in my black majority district. There is a huge motive to continue this narrative. That is all this. That is all it is, though. It is just a narrative. This dude out there praying for all these false narratives, false prophets. I don't know about you. There is a commandment in the Bible that says, "Thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain." It is not up for me to decide when this guy passes on, meets St. Peter at the pearly gates, has to sit in front of God for what it is and say and defend all of his choices. This is not striking me as the real Christian church. I don't know if I'm going out on a limb there saying that. It'll be between him and God, but my goodness, I didn't catch one word of the Bible in that prayer. This is a Joy Reid prayer right here. I didn't catch one biblical passage. I didn't catch anything that comes from the Bible I've been taught. I heard a lot of names of black people. That's fine if you're in your community and you want to get together and talk about that, but to then use it the route of church and Christianity and biblical teachings, like there was not one mention of anything biblical. It was all just, I'm going to race script forever and ever. Pretty wild stuff. But back to Joy Reid. Joy Reid is sad that she got fired. I think she's more sad that the salary is disappearing. She's not going to get those huge paychecks anymore. Where do we want to go next, though? So I got some past clips of Joy Reid. Again, we should all be celebrating that she's gone here. This one's fantastic. We'll go to this one next. This is Joy Reid hosting all of her MSNBC fellow hosts. There's Maddow, there's Nicole Wallace, there's Lawrence O'Donnell. I assume they're all next on the chopping block. I don't know how you can justify firing Joy when they're all equally bad. Listen to this just absolute circle jerk sob fest, though. Joy, you're so strong. You're so powerful. You're speaking truth every day. You are the institution. You were, at least before Donald Trump got elected, you were the mainstream voice. Like Joy Reid was mainstream. She was not fighting anything. She was not standing up against anything. Joy Reid was about as mainstream as it gets. You were ostracized from society if you questioned the Joy Reid narratives. Oh, BLM is just violence and it's not supporting black communities. You're a racist and a conspiracy theorist and you're going to get fired from your job for speaking up in our DEI trainings. Oh, you don't think COVID-19 is going to kill everybody and you don't need to take a vaccine? Well, you don't get to go to work anymore and you're a conspiracy theorist and I'm going to ban you from social media. Everything Joy Reid has ever said was simply mainstream. It took zero courage to say it. She got a huge paycheck for saying it, and she made the country worse by saying it. That's all Joy Reid's legacy is. But here it is. Here's all of NBC's, everyone from MSNBC in one video camera. Apologies in advance.
History, your ability, your political acumen. Nicole Wallace, my good sister, tell me what you, your brilliant self, believe people can do.
Well, I'm going to break the rules the way Rachel broke the rules and tell you that I love you. That the happiest times I've had, not just at MSNBC, but ever being on television, have been sitting next to the two of you. No offense, Lawrence. We love having you there, too.
We love Lawrence.
And that I think that I thought that things like that on TV couldn't be real, but that the friendships that have.
All right, I just have to pause it for a second. Again, I apologize. I wish we had a picture-in-picture on Rumble Studio. Maybe one day we'll figure this out. Lawrence O'Donnell, the token white guy on that screen. Did you notice how they were just brushing him aside and making fun of him to his face? I'm with my strong women right now. Look at me. I'm Nicole Wallace. I'm a white ally. I got the lunatic Rachel Maddow over here / Mark Cuban, and then Joy Reid, because, the mindset is if you're a white liberal, Joy Reid's a better person than you simply because of her black skin. That's it. That's what they believe. Oh, you're a black woman? I defer to you. You're better than I am. I have so many flaws as a white liberal woman. Lawrence O'Donnell over there, forget about you. Yeah, you're nice too, but I really like my girl boss moments right here, and especially with Joy Reid because black. That's it. That's their argument, folks. Joy Reid, they think is a better person. They need to defer to her. They need to laud her. She's more special, even though if you read the transcripts of a Lawrence O'Donnell show and a Joy Reid show, I mean, you could probably figure out who it is. they're saying the same thing. Trump bad, Trump threat to democracy, Trump Hitler, BLM, go BLM, COVID-19 is scary. They all said the same things, but because it was Joy Reid saying it and she's a black woman, that makes her extra special. That is the gist of their entire worldview. But sure, we're the people that are racist. I wonder if we're going to see if we can pick up the clip where we left off.
History, your ability, your political acumen. Nicole Wallace, my good sister, tell me what you, your brilliant self, believe people can do.
Well, I'm going to break the rules the way Rachel broke the rules and tell you that I love you. That the happiest times I've had, not just at MSNBC, but ever being on television, have been sitting next to the two of you. No offense, Lawrence. We love having you there, too.
We love Lawrence.
And that I think that I thought that things like that on TV couldn't be real, but that the friendships that have sustained me have been with both of you. And I am, it's like losing a limb, the thought of doing those nights without you. Your strength and your fearlessness is the answer to the question I think you're getting at with both of us. And I think that my reaction to the end of the readout and your departure is despair. And the only thing that chips away at that for me is that despair is the autocrat's tool. It's their most effective weapon. It costs nothing. It's easy to deploy. It's contagious. And then it puts in motion all the actions they want: hopelessness, isolation, exasperation, giving up. Yeah. And so the only reason I will not wallow in what I feel about you leaving is because I think that's what they want. And so I don't think there can be artificial joy and gaslighting about sort of breaking up the pro-democracy side. I think it has to be, I think we have to be real with ourselves and with each other. But I do think I'm so intrigued and I feel the stirrings in everything you've been covering tonight. The answer to this moment is not going to come from a perfect ad being cut by a brilliant ad maker and put on the air for the perfect candidate that comes out of a lab. It's just, that's not how we're going to save ourselves. And I think waiting for someone to save us is kind of how we got here. We have to save ourselves. We as a country have to decide that Elon Musk getting, I don't even know what the word is. He's already the richest person in the world, richer than the richest person, to ever exist. I don't even know what the goal is. But I think that turning this over to the country and saying, you may think this is what you wanted, but this is not who we are.
Yeah, indeed. And I think people are getting there. And Lawrence, I want to bring you in because, and again, I
just painful. That is absolutely painful to listen. She spoke for nearly 3 minutes, and apologies for repeating it. You had to sit through the entire thing. 3 minutes, she said absolutely nothing. And to be clear, I voted for everything that is happening. No one is surprised by what is happening. If you voted for Donald Trump, you knew Elon Musk would be a part of it. He told you Doge was going to be a thing if he won, and we're getting that delivered to us. But I have to say this again, and I'm asking in good faith for these deranged Democrats. And yes, you are a little deranged if you're mad at what Elon and Trump are doing, and you're not mad at the corruption they're uncovering. I honestly don't understand. I'm not asking this question to get in an argument or get in debate. I mean, there's really nothing to debate, but I am genuinely curious. Why are you not more upset at the corruption that is getting uncovered than going after the people uncovering the corruption? I just don't get it. But Nicole Wallace out there, 3 minutes, like I said, she said absolutely nothing. Are we surprised by what we're seeing? Or do we have any buyer's remorse? Absolutely not. As Kevin O'Leary said from Shark Tank, and I echo this, you can go back to the Rumble channel, the American Tribune, I did some commentary on that. O'Leary is like, this isn't enough. We should be cutting half of everything. We should be slashing everything. More slashing, more cuts, more Doge dividends, and that's where I am too. 3% of the federal workforce took the severance buyout package. Great. Let's get 47% more. How about that? We can always cut more government. These people out here, and we don't have a clip of that, they were complaining, they're crying, oh no, these poor federal workers that are out of a job. They never cried when Joe Biden slashed the pipeline jobs, at how many tens of thousands of blue-collar, well-paying positions were just destroyed overnight in his first day in office. They never cried when you faced a vaccine mandate. They didn't care that you lost your job, your livelihood, couldn't pay your mortgage, couldn't support your family because you wouldn't take an experimental jab. So it's not even about the job loss there. Yeah, and they're just good, working, dedicated civil servants. Sure, they also collect their entire salary on my tax dollars, and I don't want to spend my money that way. They can go get a corporate job, and then if I choose to buy products from said corporation, that would then fund their salaries. I have no problem with that scenario. But no, just because they're civil servants, they should be entitled to my money, just my money, my stolen money that the government then redistributes. No, they don't get to do any of that. And I'm just not quite sure what they think they're fighting. And again, I have an honest question. I'm trying to be more restrained today. I do have a lot of family members and friends that vote Democrat, watch MSNBC inexplicably. I would love to know why you are watching this. You should be watching the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson or getting your news at theamericantribune.com. How are we not all mad at the corruption that's going on? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. All right, folks. I got to move on to Joy Reid here because we've been going for half an hour here and we barely dove into the video clips yet. So we got MSNBC's panel. Nicole Wallace is going off about something. Joy Reid, she cried for 2 minutes about something. Here is Rachel Maddow, though. So you knew this was going to happen. Joy Reid, because she is a black woman, you can't touch them without being accused of racism. So MSNBC is now being accused of racism for firing a black woman. I hope they fire Maddow next. Then they'll just get accused of homophobia. Or who knows? Maybe they'll get accused of being anti-male if they fire Rachel Maddow. I don't know. But here is Rachel Maddow saying that it is so racist of MSNBC. How could they get rid of a black woman? And again, this is the problem. She got fired because her ideas are horrible, because she's an awful human being with truly racist beliefs. Joy Reid, when you want to talk about the word Joy Reid and racism, it can only be applied to describe Joy Reid. She is an overt, out-and-out, disgusting racist. But that's not how Maddow wants to portray it. MSNBC execs, they're the racist ones because they fired a strong black woman. Listen to Rachel.
An even bigger programming change is at 7 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern, where Joy Reid's show, The Readout, ended tonight. And Joy is not taking a different job in the network. She is leaving the network altogether. And that is very, very, very hard to take. I am 51 years old. I have been gainfully employed since I was 12. And I have had so many different kinds of jobs, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. But in all of the jobs I have had, in all of the years I have been alive, there is no colleague for whom I have had more affection and more respect than Joy Reid. I love everything about her. I have learned so much from her. I have so much more to learn from her. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think. I will tell you, it is also unnerving to see that on a network where we've got two, count them, two non-white hosts in primetime, both of our non-white hosts in primetime are losing their shows, as is Katie Fang on the weekend. And that feels worse than bad, no matter who replaces them. That feels indefensible, and I do not defend it.
Again, they're not even hiding anymore. It's worse because they're not white. These people have created a literal hierarchy where black lives, or non-white lives, as Maddow pointed out, matter and value more than white lives. This is a disgusting worldview, folks. These are human beings. They all have the same awful ideas. There is no distinguishing a Rachel Maddow, a Katie Fang, whoever that is, and a Joy Reid. Nothing distinguishes them except for their skin color. Otherwise, they are the exact same person. They tell the exact same lives. They've been brainwashed the exact same way. They have the same vitriol for you and me as just regular Americans. But the fact that she said it feels worse because of their skin color, this is frightening. This is how you go down to race-based genocides. I am not being hyperbolic when I say that. They have come to the conclusion that white lives value less. We should all be frightened by that. But again, if we want to have an equal opportunity displacement of hosts here, Rachel Maddow, how does she still have a job? They got rid of Olbermann, her doppelganger. Sure, they got rid of Reid, this Katie Fang character. Again, I have no idea who that is. Doesn't matter. Don't care. they should be firing all of them if they're serious. Is Maddow's audience any better than Reid's? Is Lawrence O'Donnell's or Chris Hayes's? I think Chris Hayes has worse numbers than Reid, so he should be up next. But again, they're all going to be accused of homophobia once they get rid of the rest of the crew. Pretty wild stuff right there from Rachel Maddow. And what does it say about Maddow? When I respect Joy more than anybody, I stand with her on everything. Again, that kind of makes my point. They're the exact same person. They're interchangeable. Aside from their skin color, I don't look at skin color when I listen to Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid. It's not like conservatives or just normal Americans over here, heritage Americans, are listening to MSNBC and like, you know what? I like Rachel Maddow's progressive nonsense more because she's white. Like, not a single person thinks that way. I listen to either of them interchangeably, and I'm like, my God, this is asinine. I can't believe people watch MSNBC for real reasons. Like, maybe for comedic or entertainment values. Like, we're watching these clips, we're mocking them, we're making fun of them. But someone tunes in and actually watches them. Does it matter who's spreading the message? Not to me. I disdain both of them equally, which is the only response. I don't care what skin color they have. I care that their ideas are dangerous. They lead to absolute mayhem, chaos, and death. It doesn't matter who's saying it, what skin color you have when you say it. But there's Maddow. That's her take. Again, wrong as always. Yeah, this one hit home more because she's black. I just can't focus. All right, I got one more clip of Joy. We had to listen to Joy. Again, when I talk about racism from Joy Reid, I picked out this clip specifically because Joy Reid hates everybody that's not aligned with her values. And I always make this point. I think this is a fantastic clip because even they don't believe the race-based narrative. Yes, Joy Reid is a racist. Yes, Rachel Maddow thinks of race in terms of hierarchy, and the value of your life depends on your skin color. She said that herself. I'm not making up words here. But this clip exposes the grift that is taking place as well. If Joy Reid truly believed in this, well, she does believe in racial supremacy, but it's more than that, because the giveaway is right here. She's going to lambaste black conservatives. She lumps in black conservatives with, I'll say, me as a white man in this case. In this sense, she sees us no differently. Black conservative, white conservative, Trump supporter, whoever you may be, you support evil. You voted for Adolf Hitler 2.0. If she actually believed her own lies, why wouldn't a black conservative get elevated to a black progressive? No one has ever answered this question for me. If it were truly about race and only about race, then a black conservative, regardless of what they think or feel, they should be included and welcomed in the conversation as well because they're black. Aren't you always told that it's black, black, white, white this, black that, white supremacy? But when it comes to black conservatives, they don't have anything rational to defend the rest of their premise. Then they just go on these racist tangents as well. Joy Reid just out and out hates black conservatives too. And then I'm left here thinking like, wait a second, you just told me this was a black-white issue. Are you actually telling me that this is a left-right issue and skin color has nothing to do with it? That's what I heard, but take a listen to Joy here disparage black conservatives because they think for themselves. God forbid a black American thinks for him or herself and supports Donald Trump.
Your thoughts, Byron Donalds, who walked out after Dixie was played in New York and has no shame there. Mm-hmm. They say he's going to be the governor of Florida now.
Yeah, every community has what I call their chickens for Colonel Sanders. Muslims had their halal chickens. The black community has their chickens. Byron Donalds is a grown-ass black man who referred to Donald Trump as his daddy. And what I want to tell the Byron Donalds, and every community's got a Donald. I got a Kash Patel. We got a Nimrata, yeah. We got a Haley. We all got them, all right? What I want to say is this. They'll never love you. They'll never love you. No matter what you do, they'll never love you. You can never wipe out that brown or black skin.
Again, it's very revealing when you just let them talk. Can you imagine? Donald Trump has never said anything even a quarter remotely as awful as this right here. Donald Trump has made it clear that he does not hate anybody. He is representing all Americans. You can see that in his speeches. You can see that in his policies. The only racism is coming from the left. And this is just a disgusting example yet again. And Joy Reid laughing, smiling, supporting it. I think that was Mehdi Hassan, who is just a train wreck of a human being as well, just a grotesque human being. But going after, again, a black conservative, in this case, Byron Donalds. And then he made sure to be like, I have my own problems in my community. We got Kash Patel. We have an Indian American or an American who has Indian heritage, rather, that is trying to put all Americans in this country first. But they hate you. And I got to be honest. When he said they'll never love you, and he's speaking to the Byrons and the Cashes, and he's referring to the white Americans. They'll never love you, he's saying about white Americans to Byron. False. I wish we had a Congress full of Byron Donalds, at least instead of what we have right now. If we had 535 Byron Donalds, great. What is so wrong about that? What is so bad about that? What's so scary about that? I don't care. The fun question, I heard this on Dennis Prager when I was a kid. It's always stuck with me. He said the greatest question to pose to just a libtard like this is, would you rather have a Supreme Court, 9 Supreme Court justices that were all white liberal men? Or would you rather have a Supreme Court made up of 9 conservatives that were black, Indian, trans, gay, whatever? Their heads would explode because they can't answer that question based on their worldview, based on what they're allowed to answer. As a conservative, the choice is easy. I don't care what race or sexuality my Supreme Court justices have. I just want 9 people to abide by the Constitution. Who cares if they're dwarves or midgets or black or gay or trans or all of that lumped together in one person? Doesn't matter. Are you going to respect the Constitution and uphold the Constitution? So any conservative is going to answer that in a heartbeat. These guys on the panel, though, or ask your Democrat voting friends, family members, neighbors, church congregant members, ask them, who would you rather have on the Supreme Court or in the White House? Again, Donald Trump could be a gay black dwarf. And if he had the exact same message, we would all vote for him. We don't care that Donald Trump is white. We care about what he's doing to correct course for this country. But these clowns on that clip right there would have no way of answering the question. They would run from it. They would hide from it. They would try to create some new random hypothetical because they wouldn't want to answer the question. Deep down, they would actually want the 9 white men that were liberal. Again, they ran Joe Biden. They ran away from the same problem in 2020. They actually put up Joe Biden at the height of BLM. We could have had anybody nominated. Kamala Harris tried to win, black woman. Democrats rejected her outright. They wanted the white man, Joe Biden. So what does that tell you? Comes down to their values as well. But again, disgusting clip. Joy Reid absolutely hates you as a white person. She hates her fellow blacks as well if they dare step off the Democrat thought plantation. MSNBC, again, is not losing anything. America will be a better place without the presence of Joy Reid, with her spewing her toxic, evil hatred every single day. I guess we won't have any more clips, though, to make of Joy Reid. I guess that's the one downside. We had a lot of articles at the American Tribune because Joy Reid just went on these hateful rants every single evening, these monologues of her that are just dividing and hating and just race grifting. So I will miss that because we could monetize off of Joy Reid a little bit. But for the betterment of the country, it is good to see her go. All right, with that being said, again, we could do a full hour on Joy. There are so many clips on X. You could just go search Joy Reid over on X, formerly Twitter. You can just see clip after clip after clip of her bug-out eyes, of her absolute insanity, her overt racism. But we had to talk about Dan Crenshaw, too. And if you want to actually go back, I did a full hour and a half on Eye Patch McCain. And I actually, if you go to my Twitter profile, my X profile, I did a thing where I said I would never refer to him as Eye Patch McCain out of respect for his military service. I now call him Eye Patch McCain, and I feel zero guilt about it because this is a man, yes, he served his country. He lost his eye in the Middle East, but then he has weaponized his military past for his own betterment and at your detriment. So Dan Crenshaw uses his military service as a shield. He uses it as a get out of jail free card. You can't criticize me. I'm a military vet. And you know what that sounds like? It's exactly like a Joy Reid that says, you can't criticize me. I'm a black woman. So as soon as Dan Crenshaw used his eye patch as a shield, a literal shield from any criticism, even though he's out there saying I deserve to do insider trading, I hate the MAGA movement. We had a video clip, go back to the episode that I did. He's blasting a 10-year-old girl for asking him a question at a town hall and goes on some insane rant about don't question my Christian beliefs. So he doesn't deserve the respect anymore. He is now Eye Patch McCain. If he had set aside his military service and the loss of his eye in the military, saying, I served my country, I love my country, this is what happened to me, I'm not going to disparage Americans, I'm not going to threaten Americans, I'm not going to put 10-year-olds on blast, I'm not going to say I would effing kill Tucker Carlson, then maybe I would leave the eye patch alone. But Dan Crenshaw is just one of the worst scumbags in Congress, and as a result, he is now Eye Patch McCain, and I don't feel bad saying it at all. Doesn't mean I don't respect military service members. It just means I don't respect Dan Crenshaw for using his eye patch as a shield against any criticism that is also well-deserved and earned. He has earned his criticism. But here's Eye Patch on a hot mic saying he would go after Tucker Carlson. And then, actually, let's play this clip first. Where's my other Tucker clip here?
The single most left-wing, truly left-wing member of Congress I've ever met personally is a Republican from this area.
All right, I don't know if the clip is going to work.
The single most left-wing, truly left.
All right, that clip is failing. Let's see if we can get this one going instead.
Have you ever met Tucker?
We've talked a lot. If I ever meet him, I'll probably tell him. He's the worst person.
There you go. Short clip. I'm going to play it one more time. I'm going to effing kill Tucker Carlson if I ever meet him. Why? Maybe for calling you out and exposing you. But I can't believe we're doing this. Let's listen to it one more time. I got more thoughts.
Have you ever met Tucker?
We've talked a lot. If I ever meet him, I'll probably tell him. He's the worst person.
I wrote this on X shortly after the video came out, and I included George Santos. Remember George Santos? Republicans kicked him out of Congress because he lied about a few things. He was never found guilty of any crimes, and to my knowledge, he's actually never been found guilty. Of all the crooks in D.C., you had Adam Schiff in the House. You have Ilhan Omar in the House. You have Nancy Pelosi in the House. You have Dan Crenshaw in the House. We could go on and find problems with all of them. They kicked out George Santos, and I said, George must wake up every single day still wondering what the hell happened to me. They got me expelled. I was swimming in this pool of corruption. I got Dan Crenshaw over here threatening to kill somebody, and I'm the one that got expelled. George Santos every day must just be, I would be upset. I would be livid. I would know that I was flying over the target here. Of all the people to remove from Congress, we got rid of George Santos. Heck, you have Bob Menendez in the Senate still. I'm pretty sure I think it's just a stated fact now that he took bribes from Egypt in the terms of gold bullion. He's still there. But we got rid of George Santos? Like, what is happening? How is Dan Crenshaw not immediately getting removed? And again, you got to thread the needle here. We have a slim majority in the House. We can't really afford to lose any more Republicans. But at the same time, we're just going to let Crenshaw say this? I don't know. Okay, I got to see if this Tucker clip works as well. This one, like I said, is a year or two old. This is Tucker Carlson calling out Dan Crenshaw in Texas. I don't know if it's going to work. We'll try it one more time.
The single most left-wing, truly left-wing member of Congress I've ever met personally is a Republican from this area who has no interest in the United States whatsoever and does not even pretend. I'm not going to name names. Oh, I think that's right. Yeah, it's Dan Crenshaw, the most liberal, most left-wing person I've ever met in the Congress. I'm just being serious. I mean, structurally, how does that happen?
Throw on some cowboy boots and you buy a shotgun and go out there and take a picture shooting at some pheasants, and you learn how to speak the lingo a little bit, watch a little bit of Tucker Carlson. Now you know what to say, how to deceive exactly, and you find yourself in a position of power, kneecapping people on the right time after time after time. Our controlled opposition problem is so bad, and that's why we always feel like we're playing tug-of-war with Whoopi Goldberg. It just doesn't feel like you can win.
Wyoming is the most Republican state in the United States. They elected Liz Cheney, who just endorsed Kamala Harris time and time again.
So there it is. Dan Crenshaw hates Tucker Carlson because he exposes him and he calls him out. Like I said, though, he is still in Congress, not getting expelled. George Santos got expelled. But Dan Crenshaw, you got to go back to my episode there. That's when he completely lost his mind. He was just blasting random accounts on X because he was crying like a little baby because we exposed him. We said, Crenshaw, hold on a second. You're asking for a raise. You're justifying insider trading. You're disparaging hardworking Americans. Something's wrong here. Maybe you don't deserve the R behind your name. But man, Tucker Carlson putting him on blast saying he's the most liberal member of Congress with an R or a D. Wild stuff here. You got to go check out the episode. Go to the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson. Scroll through the library. I think I did that in like January. So you got to go back a little bit through some of our other episodes. Wild stuff. Dan Crenshaw is the absolute worst. I am assuming he's going to get primaried. He should have some good primary challenges. It's Texas. It's a big state. You got a lot of options. Got a lot of money down there. So Dan Crenshaw absolutely has to go. All right, just a little clip right there. All right. I actually skipped this clip here. This one's too good. I had promised earlier some snowflake melting down about Joy Reid getting fired. This is the mindset. I got to go. Okay, I got to back up a little bit. We got to play this video. Here's just some random white dude, some pathetic male, crying because how's he going to get truth and news anymore now that Joy Reid is gone? Oh no, I can't imagine. This poor guy watches MSNBC and thinks it's real.
Dear MSNBC, what the heck is your angle? Dear MSNBC, what?
Man, we are having technical difficulties on Rumble Studio. I keep saying this. I want to support Rumble. I want to stream in Rumble here, but every single time I try to play a video, it's not letting me.
Dear MSNBC. Dear MSNBC.
All right, Rumble Studio. I don't know how much more we can do this before we go back to our third party here. We'll still stream on Rumble. We just can't stream from within Rumble. Let us see if we can move on, though. I got Jasmine Crockett, again, talking about racism within the Democrat Party. Racism is alive and well. You've got a sitting congresswoman, black Democrat from the Houston area, just saying it out loud again.
Throw shade. These are just the facts. When you look at who's voting for who, the less educated folk, and when I say educated, I'm not even talking about formal education. I'm talking about people that literally don't want to read and enlighten themselves on facts. Those are the people that typically vote for the Republicans, and it's one of the reasons that we have to stop writing in theses as Democrats, right? Like, we want to give you every single little detail that we can find so that you can have all the information. But the reality is that the average person that is going out there and voting, they're not paying attention to that. And we fail to realize how selfish people are. People go out and they vote in their own self-interest, right? And so you had all these racists that showed up and decided that they were going to vote for the other races because they thought, hey, we are all the same. But the reality is that he is a rich racist, okay? And so when he decided that he was going to look out for somebody, it was only going to be other rich white guys, not the rest of y'all. So as you're losing your job, as you're losing your Medicaid, as you're losing your farm, you're feeling away because you're like, wait a minute, you were supposed to go after the others, not come after us. And now
pretty disgusting clip right there. That is the lie. This is the new Trump hoax. It's not as obvious. It's not as in your face. It's not all the headlines, but this is the latest Trump hoax. They're trying to convey this narrative, again, this propaganda and brainwashing, that people have buyer's remorse voting for Donald Trump. This is what they're all trying to say, and basically the same. Joy Reid said that in the big clip. I think people are waking up. Jasmine Crockett's over here saying, you're waking up realizing you don't have any Medicare anymore, which is definitely not a thing. They want the narrative to be that a lot of people regret voting for Donald Trump, and it's because day one I said I'm really optimistic for 2028. I should be more optimistic for the midterms, but I'm not. It depends on the seats in the districts themselves. But 2028, people will have only seen more media lies. They will only have seen more Trump winning. I don't see how you lose a single Trump vote. I can see how you gain a lot of votes. People that sat it out, maybe they had voted Biden, but then just didn't vote at all. That's fine. It was one less vote we needed for Trump. You will not lose a single Trump voter who, looking back on the 4 years that we're going to have here, like, gosh, you know, he shouldn't have closed the border. That was so racist of him. Or gosh, he ended foreign wars. I really miss foreign wars. Like, not one person has buyer's remorse. Not one person will have buyer's remorse. But then you get a lot of these other normal Americans that are like, you know, the media kept saying this, and things look really good. Economy's great, border secure, crime is down, foreign wars are done. Women get their sports in their locker rooms and their bathrooms again. He's going to get more votes. And again, it was a referendum on the media as just as much as it was the political class. Are people going to wake up and trust the media again? Corporate media? Absolutely not. So everything is skewing towards Donald Trump and the America First movement in 2028. Whoever the nominee is, right now I assume J.D. Vance gets the nod for the ticket, but we'll see how that plays out. So this is the narrative they have to create. Buyer's remorse. I regret voting for Trump. He's being a fascistic dictator somehow. They never explain how, but sure, he's a threat to the Constitution and democracy. This is the hoax that they're running right now, just a little more subtly. There is so much to unpack in what Jasmine Crockett said. First and foremost, she is calling you a moron. If you are a white rural American, white poor American, white middle class American, and you voted for Donald Trump, you voted primarily because you are a racist. So she's just saying you are all racist as white people, par for the course there. But then you're a dumb white racist because you don't know how to read. You don't know how to look at nuance or complex issues or dissect information. Democrats are so good at getting all the information out there and letting you make up your mind for yourself. Just like with COVID, right, guys? You had so much information at your disposal. You were allowed to look at competing narratives and say, maybe I will take the jab. Maybe I won't take the jab. Well, what are the safety studies on the jab? You know, I'd rather not mask up because I can see my breath when I step outside in the wintertime in Minnesota. So if my breath can escape from the mask, can these smaller particles from COVID get in? Who knows? You know, who am I? I just have all the information, so I'm going to decide. Or did they censor the hell out of you during COVID? Did they censor you when you said, I'm looking at all the bellwether counties in the 2020 election. I'm looking at the vote totals that just jumped out of nowhere. I understand there's a lot of mail fraud, a lot of mail-in ballots for the first time ever, no infrastructure to really vet those ballots. Was that when we had all the information, Jasmine Crockett? Like, absolutely unbelievable gaslighting and lying to you. She believes her lies. Make no mistake, she believes what she's saying. She's out there with such conviction. And it always makes me think the Thomas Sowell clip. Nothing is, I got to paraphrase here. I think it goes along the lines of something to the extent that nothing is more frightening than some person so deluded, so convinced with their delusions. You will never change Jasmine Crockett's mind. She is so dangerous because she is so wrong and so sure of her wrongness. But just a wild clip right there. And again, they're not shy about saying it anymore either. Joy Reid, Rachel Maddow, Jasmine Crockett, they're not shy anymore. They're just going to tell you, I hate you. I think you are an awful human being. I think you're stupid. So that's all the encompassing. Yeah, Democrats, we give all the information, let people decide. Here's all the information they're actually dumping you. We hate you. We think you're stupid, and you're racist. So do with what you will. And folks, we are coming up on the hour here. I don't think we're going to try the clip one more time of our white dude that's sad Joy Reid is gone. We'll try it one more time.
Dear MSNBC, what the heck is your angle here? Getting rid of Joy Reid? Like, people are leaving in droves because people don't trust you anymore. Like, we need a voice. We need somebody to push back against the insanity that's happening right now. And the only person we have left is Rachel Maddow. I don't get what the angle is, because what happens when all of this is over? And it's going to be sooner than you think. 4 a.m. Club, shout out. What's going to happen when all this comes to the surface? Because you guys are not going to have any viewers. Like, any viewers. People are moving over to Midas.
Yes, you do understand. Joy Reid got fired because there are already no viewers. This is the whole point. MSNBC is a failed propaganda network. What is your deal? They couldn't afford her anymore. That's the deal. Advertisers didn't want to waste money on. She was getting like 80,000 people in the primetime slot of like 25 to 50 hour in the key demo. I mean, there are YouTube channels and Rumble channels that get more daily views than MSNBC's Joy Reid got. So they couldn't afford her. They are trying to sell the business. So it was fine when MSNBC operated under NBC and they could do whatever they wanted. They were part of the corporate media structure. They were getting all the government tax dollar through USAID and all the rest. They didn't care about the bottom line. Now that they're trying to sell MSNBC, package it up, spin it off, get rid of it, they're like, nobody's going to buy MSNBC with Joy Reid on the air. Number one, she's not popular. Number two, she is just a disgusting human being. And so she has to go if we're going to sell this. They are concerned about their money. What's the angle here? Don't think too hard about it. Don't hurt yourself, my soft-spoken dude. They are concerned about making money now that they actually have to worry about that. And I love that he's like, no one's going to take you seriously. No one's going to believe you anymore. You're losing trust. Like, you're damn right people have lost trust in MSNBC. Are you kidding? MSNBC purveys hoax after hoax. It propagandizes and brainwashes. That's all it is good for. And we vote rejecting those media lies. And this moron over here is the last person to show up to the party thinking like, hey, people aren't going to believe MSNBC. It's like, yeah, people don't believe MSNBC. If you actually think MSNBC is giving you honest stories and coverage and news every single day, I don't know what to tell you, but you are part of the problem in this country. We did the clip. Nicole Wallace was speaking for like 3 minutes about nothing. And she's over there saying like, it's up to us to fight the fight. And what fight? What are you fighting? What are you resisting? Uncovering corruption in the government? Drawing down foreign wars? Securing the border? Getting tough on crime? Sending violent illegals home? Recognizing that there is a difference between men and women? What are you fighting against at this point? What are you resisting? You are the bad guys if you're fighting Donald Trump. I don't care if you hate Donald Trump with a passion because you believe too many other media lies. I don't care if you're like, but he's rich, or Elon Musk is rich, and I didn't vote for Elon Musk. I don't care about any of that. What are you fighting right now? There is no threat to democracy under Donald Trump, especially compared to what we witnessed under Joe Biden. How are you not mad at the corruption that's getting uncovered? How are you not mad that we had a wide open border for 4 years that let in tens of millions of unvetted illegals, brought in massive waves of death thanks to the fentanyl that crossed our border, and was responsible for the largest scale of human trafficking this country has ever seen? By all accounts, Joe Biden lost 300,000 kids. What do you think happened to those kids? And you're going to get mad at Donald Trump? Get out of here with that. What are you fighting? What are you resisting? You are the bad guys. You are the ones supporting evil right now. My normal Democrat voting family members, friends, neighbors, can we just look at the issue for a second? Set aside how your tummy gets hurt when you hear the name Donald Trump, because that's what happens. You get triggered when you hear the name Donald Trump. You've been conditioned to react that way emotionally. Set that aside and just look at the issue. The issue is we can have an open border or a closed border. We can have endless wars overseas or no wars overseas. We can recognize that there is a difference, and an unchangeable difference at that, between men and women, that women are allowed to have their own locker rooms, bathrooms, and sports. We can punish bad guys. We can shrink the size of the government and let you keep more of your money and your freedom. Or we can, what are you fighting against? What are you fighting against, my friends? Let me know in the comments below if you vote Democrat and you hate everything that's going on with the Trump administration. Please help me understand. All right, I got one short clip of Kamala Harris. We had to get to Kamala Harris. She's back. She is doing exactly what you would expect. It's the same word salad nonsense, but I love how she makes you feel. Yeah, all five sentences come out. You get to smell, touch, see. Kamala Harris makes it so vivid in your mind. Man, she is such an orator. But here's Kamala Harris, the last person to visit, I think. Are the LA fires still going? Are they out? They stopped reporting on it. I think the fires have all been put out. Here's Kamala Harris, though. Again, these people are always last to the party. Okay, you finally made it to LA, Kamala Harris. Good job. This is like 2 months after you left office and 3 months after the fires started, but good job. Give yourself a pat on the back. But listen to this word salad insanity from Kamala Harris. And again, why are reporters putting mics in her face? Why do we care what Kamala Harris says? It's because she's running for governor, but my goodness, take a listen.
Goes through your mind when you see this? You're here, you're now seeing it up close.
It's not only seeing it, Alex, you can smell it. You can feel it, right? So it's seeing it with our eyes, and many people have seen it. You all are covering it. But to literally be on the ground here, you can smell the smoke that was here. You can feel the toxicity, frankly, of the environment. You can feel the energy of all of the folks who are still here on the ground.
Brutal, folks. Like I said, though, all five senses, I can smell the fire. Wow, what an insight. You mean you're in a place that was charred beyond recognition and you can smell some burning embers still and some ash? Great job, Kamala Harris. Really powerful stuff right there. You can see the destruction of the fire. Congratulations. I have a 2-year-old that would be like, that's not normal. But Kamala Harris pointed it out, and she's brilliant for doing so. People voted for this. People voted for Kamala Harris. People are going to vote for her again. You got to share this program, folks. I think I was trying to be a little nicer today. Still fired up sometimes. I honestly can't wrap my head around the fact that people are opposed to what Donald Trump is doing right now. This country is so far on the right track. It is incredible. The only thing I will accept is if you say he's not doing enough, because you can never slash the government enough. You can never eliminate the corruption enough. So if you want to argue, I like what I'm seeing, but it's just not enough, so I'm going to give him like an 8 out of 10. I can live with that. I am actually in that camp with you. But if you're going to say Donald Trump is acting too dictatorially, too tyrannically, too fascistically, I want to sign you up for an MRI immediately, because we need a brain scan to figure out what is wrong with you. But there it is, folks. Joy Reid, Kamala Harris, Dan Crenshaw, the worst of the worst. This show hates all establishment politicians and government-funded media apparatuses, apparently, because USAID discovered that we're just sending your tax dollars to MSNBC, Politico, New York Times, CNN, all of them. They all get government money, and you wonder why the narratives are exactly like they should be for the establishment. But things are changing. Donald Trump has only been in office for 5 weeks. I can never get over this fact. It's only been 5 weeks. Donald Trump has done so much. He's already accomplished more than I think we expected him to do in his entire second term. But things are happening fast. We will be back, folks, though, next Thursday, 9:30. We start a little bit earlier because I like the 9:20 time, but we will continue advertising 9:30 a.m. Central over on Rumble at the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson. You can catch any previous broadcast over on Spotify, Apple, our main Rumble channel, the American Tribune. I upload it there as well, usually. But I appreciate you tuning in. Comment section was a little slower today. I don't know if it's the end of the month here. Maybe Tuesday morning, people are waking up a little slower here. But Robert, thanks for your comment. Thanks for watching. I think, we're up to 6 YouTube videos right as we're getting out the door here. But folks, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for watching the American Tribune Live with Todd Peterson. We will be back next Thursday, 9:30 a.m. Central. We'll see you then.
Starting on day one, we'll implement a rapid series of bold reforms to restore our nation to full prosperity. We're going to go full prosperity and to build the greatest economy the world has ever seen, just as we had just a short time ago. We will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Great again.